Hi, my name is Jordan Villeneuve, and today I'm going to be talking a bit about Venture, a nonprofit. This is a social entrepreneurship business plan executed and designed under the Global Entrepreneurship class at the George Washington University, summer semester 2017. This project originated as a social change business plan, but grew out of a personal interest and personal curiosity about the possibilities around social entrepreneurship and helping youth. At its heart, Venture is a nonprofit designed to pair at-risk youth or disadvantaged youth with work opportunities in their communities. It recognizes the fact that youth at risk or disadvantaged as a result of drug use, imprisonment, or other illicit activity are automatically at a disadvantage as compared to their peers and face major challenges in finding adequate work. It also recognizes that work is often a pathway to stability and to personal prosperity, and can be so very beneficial to individual youth, but also to communities and to companies at large. It aims to solve all of these problems and deliver creative yet simple solutions through pairing youth with work opportunities in their community, and counting on a bridge and an understanding between those youth and those business owners that are willing to reach out a hand and give the youth that we engage with a chance to make amends and make the most of their lives. Essentially, this is a product of personal speculation. I, myself, Jordan, had this idea, and I'm curious as to whether or not it could be implemented. Given the opportunity to spell out the project and what it might mean in a social entrepreneurship plan, I capitalized on the opportunity and built out a social entrepreneurship business plan, if you will, or organizational plan, as I call the product, and was able to move through a process of development from which I learned a lot. We'll talk a little bit about the learning associated. Finally, this project, specifically putting the plan into an actual business plan format, was a litmus test for refinement and implementation. It helped me identify what areas I needed more information, what might work and what might not, and what I might need in order to make this plan successful in real life. I selected it because of personal experience and curiosity with regard to a belief about what might work with regard to the value of work. I personally believe that all of us benefit from holding jobs in whatever form we hold, and that work is essentially a path to stability, dignity, personal prosperity, and thousands of other benefits, positive benefits, that we enjoy on a daily basis. In addition to personal benefit, there's benefit for the community. And I believe that all of these benefits combined make it essential and imperative for us to help all members of our community find work, especially those who are disadvantaged or at risk. This was a classic example of social entrepreneurship, given the fact that we would use an entrepreneurial framework, that of starting an organization that was aimed at helping people, not necessarily geared toward a profit. Building a plan around this framework would allow us to explore facets of entrepreneurship and facets of the process of building an organization that would aim ultimately to help youth. Therefore, it represented an excellent project topic, which is why I selected it. Lastly, it was an opportunity to transition an idea into an actual plan. It was an opportunity to refine that plan, and it was an opportunity to look at what might need to be added or refined and able to make that plan a feasible one versus one that simply existed in my own mind. After putting together the plan and building out a 10 or so page business plan, I realized a few very interesting outcomes which were key to my learning, which we'll talk about momentarily. As far as outcomes, I realized first and foremost that the importance of creating a plan is, well, simple, but vastly important. Unless you put your ideas down in writing, and unless you start to capture what you're thinking, you can't take it anywhere. 9 times out of 10 successful businesses or successful nonprofits will exist around a plan. It may seem simple, but so many forget this, and it ultimately can be their downfall. Next, tackling issues of growth and governance was interesting to me. As I built the plan out for venture, I realized that we would need to include information in a plan for growth and governance. Venture was created around the notion that one individual could operate the nonprofit, but it was also created around the notion that it could grow. Recognizing this, we needed to include information on growth and governance, which we quickly added to the plan. However, thinking through this was important in putting together a plan that would be sustainable for the long run. Similarly, with regard to the mechanics of implementation, one doesn't necessarily think about the processes and the nitty-gritty details involved in realizing the goal or operations of a nonprofit. Too easily we get caught in the cerebral or the 30,000-foot general aspects of nonprofit operations and don't think about the specifics that need to be addressed. Putting together a plan allowed me to think of those specifics, address them, validate assumptions, and put together a working plan that I believe could be launched and could be successful. Similarly, this was a litmus test for refinement and implementation. Again, committing your thoughts to paper and to a plan allows us to validate assumptions and put together a plan that would be workable, given the fact that we have to put it through the academic and intellectual rigor involved of actual planning. Thus, it was extremely beneficial in this sense. Finally, the fifth interesting outcome for me were the financing implications. Again, this is built as a nonprofit that can be operated by 1 to up to 100 people. And recognizing and addressing the financial implications at all levels and all stages of development was incredibly interesting and valuable for me. Again, a great learning opportunity that's reflected in a series of assumptions, operating parameters, axioms, and a cash flow statement included in the organizational plan. Lastly, key learning. Key learning centers around these 4 points. First of which, the importance of planning. Again, we kind of touched on this, but in order to plan something out and to make it truly effective, you have to sit down and spend the time putting your thoughts to paper, or to PowerPoint in this case, or to a Word document. Without doing that, we don't have anything to come back to. Furthermore, we don't have to address a template or an outline or validate our assumptions or test our assumptions. We can simply continue to operate in our mind with the concept of what we'd like to see. While that may be easy from a conceptual standpoint, it doesn't work when you're looking for a loan or looking to win support or advocates. Therefore, the importance of planning is paramount to organizational development in both nonprofits and in the for-profit sector. This transitioned us to the value of a plan. With a plan in hand that's well thought out and refined and run by several people, we can go to a bank for financing. We can go to a community group for advocacy or for volunteers. We can even go to the clients who we're attempting to help and say, look, this has been planned out and thought out, and it is a viable theory. Thus, the value of a plan is simple yet understated, and we should all plan on creating those plans when we're trying to launch a nonprofit, in whatever form that might take. Plans also shape volunteer and resource requirements. If you have a plan that's advanced, then you likely need advanced volunteers with degrees or credentials or experience or backgrounds. If a plan is, say, simple, perhaps you need simple volunteers that can do simple tasks. However, a plan is going to dictate all of this, and it'll completely depend on what the organization aims to do and achieve. Lastly, be prepared for catastrophic success. What we mean by this is if your organization is more successful than you might have imagined, is your plan capable and flexible enough to allow the organization to grow? Does the plan only support a local chapter or a small occurrence of the organization? And if the organization gets so big so quickly because it is a need or a excellent service within a community, how is your plan going to react to that, and will it survive? So these were all things that came out as we were creating the plan for venture, which was an extremely valuable exercise. And it taught us a lot. Again, these were just the 4 key points. But it allowed us to translate that learning into both for-profit and non-profit planning in the future, and was an excellent opportunity to experiment with bringing an idea from the purely conceptual to the point where it represented a feasible plan. Please reach out if you have any questions about venture, and I'd be more than happy to entertain them and answer them individually. Thank you. Appreciate your time.